Hi, in this video I'll show you how to do correlation analysis. Correlation is a very important part of descriptive statistical analysis. What correlation is? It tells you the relationship among two or more variables. For example, you want to know whether two variables are very correlated or not and whether they're significant or not. Right? Correlation typically ranges from 0 to 1. Right? 0 means no relations between two variables, and 1 means they have a perfect relationship, which means like 1 unit increase of one variable will be followed by 1 unit of increase by another variable. And the most popular form of correlation coefficient is called the Pearson's. It's named after the person who invented the idea of correlation. Correlation is actually a very simple mathematical formula that you can calculate. You can calculate this by hand. You can calculate correlation by hand. You can calculate it using Excel. You can, of course, you can do it using SPSS. So this is how I'm going to show it to you. I've clicked through the VSCC link, and it asks me to enter my net ID and net password, which I have done. I click sign in, and then I'm going to go to my file again. Of course, I can also access this using opening SPSS software and access the file, but what I want to show you here is directly opening the file through the File Explorer. Okay, I'm clicking my P drive, going to my main data, opening my demo data, my .sav data for digital literacy for elderly demo. Yep, it's opening up, loading well, yes. Thank you SPSS. Check again, everything is okay. Yep, it looks good. Okay, so how do I do correlation? It's very simple. You go to Analyze, you go to Correlate, which is correlation, right? You go to bivariate. What do you mean by bivariate? It means you want to see the how many variables do we have in this program evaluation? We have 11 variables, right? From digital training, how many times you join the digital training up to Mahjong. So we have 11 variables, right? So we want to see the correlation among each of them, one by one, right? So digital with digital literacy, digital training with digital skills, digital training with digital confidence, digital training with well-being, and digital skills with age, digital skills with gender. So all of them one by one, right? You can see we have a lot of outputs later for the correlation. So I like to open it a little bit bigger to understand what they are. See, I click all of them, yeah, into the bivariate correlation. I only click Pearson, right? Of course you can Kendall or Spearman, but I want to check Pearson, which is the most popular correlation coefficient. I only want two-tail. One-tail is used when you know exactly the specific direction of your hypothesis. For example, you say the more digital training that they receive, the better the better the digital skills and the better the well-being of these respondents. And you have a very precise prediction that this is a positive relationship. But in this test, I don't want to use a one-tail. I want to use a two-tail, which is a safer approach, a more conservative approach to see maybe the relationship is not always positive. It can also be negative, right? So two directions, positive and negative. So I use two-tail. I ask them to tell me which correlations are significant, which means that the one that is significant will be shown in a star. Remember, significant is about p-value. And in our lectures 1 week and 2 weeks ago, we talked about p-value. P-value means a significant level. If your p-value is, let's say p is at 0.05, it means that you have 90, which is 5%, right? Which means that you have 95% confident that the result is not by chance, that the result is very precise, not by chance, but it's because of the reality. But so that's why you want a p-value as small as possible, so that your confidence of your result is correct and it is not due to chance or error to be higher. So you want it to be higher, and you want a p-value to be lower. So I've clicked it here. I don't want any means or whatever because I've done them before. Right? I've done the descriptive. I go to paste function again. Yeah. Arrange them. So here the instruction is correlation. This is the key instruction, and these are all the variables that we have. And it's a two-tail, and I want to show significant number. Right? Click. So this is what SPSS gave me in terms of the correlations output. See, if 2 star is significance at 0.01, 1 star is significance at 0.05. Which one would you go for? I would go for the smaller significant levels, the smaller p-value, which is 0.01, which is 2 star, right? I want to go for the one with the 2 star. Now, can you identify which variables correlate with which other variables that has 2 stars? Of course, here, it shows here the number of times a respondent joined the digital training has a correlation of 0.6 and is very significant, right? It's significantly related with whether you have joined inspirational talk. So when the person joined the digital training and the person joined inspirational talk is always correlated, which means that I don't know what caused what, because this is not about correlation, this is not about causation. What caused what? This is not about causation, it's just correlation. Do they have relationship or not? Well, the data here shows that how many times you have joined digital literacy training is strongly and positively correlated with the number of times that this person joined inspirational talk. And the number of times joining digital literacy is also positively related with the person, whether the person has a digital tool, has access to digital tools, which could tell us that if you have digital tools, you're more likely to join. Or if you have joined a digital training, you're more likely to have one. Maybe you ask your son, if you are 80 years old, you ask your son or your grandson to buy one for you, buy a computer for you, open an email for you, right? If you have joined a digital literacy, you're more likely to have better confidence. So these are all significant and they're positive, right? But the number of times you join digital literacy have nothing to do with your age. It's not significant. It's not significant to gender. It has nothing to do with gender. So how many times you have joined has no correlation with your age, with your gender. It has negative relations with the body height, but it's not significant. Right? So you can just ignore the things that are not significant. So that's the key trick. Ignore everything that is not significant. And the number of times you have joined digital training is related to the number of times you play mahjong per week, and it's positive. Right? It's 0.77. It's quite big, nearly 1, and it's quite big. So among all of this, which one is the strongest in terms of correlation? Look for the one that is bigger. Which one? This one, right? This is the highest in terms of correlation between the first variable, joining digital literacy, and other 10 variables. And the second biggest correlation is this one with this one, which is 0.714. And the third one is this one, your confidence. Alright? And you can see here there's a diagonal line here, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, which means that when you analyze them, the easiest way is ignore everything that goes after 1 on that side. Ignore everything on this part. You can just look at this. Or you can also look at just this. You don't need to look at both because they are the same. It's just a mirror. One side is here, one side is that side. Right? So the number of times a person joined inspirational talk is strongly related with the number of times this person have joined digital training. And whether you have digital access is significantly related to whether you have joined, how many times you have joined the program. Your exam score for digital literacy is strongly related with how many times you have joined. Makes sense, right? Which means that the more the elderly join the digital literacy, which means the higher the score will be. It's the same as the more that you regularly attend your course, your class, the more that you're going to score better in your final exam. And your exam score is also related with you having access to digital schools, digital tools, 0.515, which could tell us that people who have access to these digital tools are more likely to perform better in their exam score on digital literacy. It could mean that maybe they have more time to spend, they have more time to practice, right? And it's also very high here, 0.8, if you want to see that, right? Or here, the confidence level and this digital score. So which means that people who have very confident in their skills in using the digital tools may be likely score very well in the exam. Or people who have scored very well, they know they have done very well in the exam and they feel confident about it. So that's why it's very high. So correlation doesn't tell you what caused what. It don't tell you what is related with what. So you can pay attention to those numbers that have this they have the stars, and you can ignore the things that have no stars. Yeah. So this is the part on correlations. So the correlation is important as a basic before you do regression. If you say one variable can predict another variable, so that prediction should have the first layer of evidence. The first layer of evidence is always the correlations. You see the two variables have a strong relationship. And of course, this relationship correlation should be related to your logic model. If you have a logic model, you say, we're going to give this bunch of elderly two types of intervention, which is give them digital literacy training, number one, and then give them inspirational talk. And then you also measure the output. Let's say the output is how confident they are in terms of using digital tools, how well they score in the exam, and how well is their well-being. Because if you know how to use email, you know how to computer, your well-being is also may likely to be increased because you're able to communicate with your friends, with your children, your grandchildren, you talk to them on Skype. These are all the digital tools, right? So this intervention that you have, the digital training and the inspirational talk, may influence their ability, their score in the exam on digital literacy, their confidence in using digital tools, and their well-being. And if this is a part of your logic model, you have included them there, so you can verify that relationship in a correlation as a first level of evidence. And your next level of evidence is to use regression, which we will do for the following week. So this is how you establish your evidence step by step in doing program evaluation. That's it. Thank you.